Welcome to Overtime the Podcast, a show dedicated to all things watches, with a special love for micro brands and their affordable range. I'm your host Praka, and some of you might know me as Kinda Average Watches. Join me as we explore new releases, share tips on building your collection, and put in some overtime with hands-on reviews of the latest watches. Whether you're a bit of a pro or you're just getting into the hobby, this podcast will keep you entertained with great stories from the people in the industry, casual conversations, and guest hosts who bring their own unique perspectives. Let's get started. Good day, listeners. I hope you're all having a great week. It's been cooking, really warm this week for us here in WA. And I have my aircon running in the background, so hopefully it's not too loud. Guess most of the sound gets filtered anyway, but anyway, apologize for that if it is a little loud, but yes, it's unbearable without it on in the background at the moment. Right, so look, I'm back today with another new watch release episode. I don't think I've done one in a little while, actually. Maybe not one this year. So, been a couple of cool pieces that I've seen over the last month, and also stuff that's coming out this month from all over the world. And caught my eye, and I thought, maybe you guys might be interested in it too. So, wrist check. I've got my Casio G-Shock DW5610-SU8. I think I got that right. So it's the grey square G, basically. Like I said, it was a pretty warm day. After work, I was doing some stuff around the house. I was getting kids ready and stuff like that. So I thought a bed and thought, well, I'll just chuck the G-Shock on. And I did. And yeah, what better watch to G-Shock? Just whatever I want to do, all good. It's a proper beater. So yep. And I don't really wear it enough, to be honest. It remains dormant, so I figured why not? All right, so before we get into this episode proper, I must say that this episode is sponsored by Second Hour Watches. So Second Hour is a premium Australian micro brand. They've got distinctive designs, excellent quality with dedication to continuous improvement. They've got sports, dressy, and field watches, you name it. They've got it all covered. They carry their own design language throughout the range, no matter what type of watch it is. So, yep, with that in mind, let's get into the episode with the first watch. Okay, of course. Like I said, it is sponsored by Second Hour, so the first watch is a Second Hour watch, the Second Hour Mandala Mark III. As I said in the intro, look, Second Hour really looks to improve their models. They've released various versions or iterations or marks of their watches, and they want to keep pushing what they can offer for the price and what they can improve, what they can do in terms of specs, in terms of quality and finishing. Look, Mandala is no different. It's a Garda sports watch in its third iteration, hence Mark III. It comes with quite a bit of improvements from Mark II. Immediately that catches my eye is the dial. It just looks like a step up from the Mark II. Not that there was anything wrong with the Mark II's dial. It just looks like a more premium finish. Their signature gear shape pattern in the center of the dial, and of course the curved index on the outside of the edge are a treat. It's almost like when I think about the Mandala, that's what I think about. And yeah, it just looks great. Now it comes with the new push button micro adjustment system in the clasp as well, which is awesome, right? I mean, I feel like most of my watches I have them, and the watches that I don't have them sometimes bothers me, and this one does. Of course, it's a Garda watch, so go anywhere, do anything. And then the bracelet as well it's their new 7-link bracelet. It just fantastic articulation. When you have that many links, it's going to drape well, and also it's going to sparkle really nicely in those wrist rolls as well. And the crown guards, so they've contoured it slightly. It's very subtle, but it definitely has a slight more contour, and it's going to make it fit better on the wrist. Speaking about sitting better on the wrist, same thing with the bracelet as well. It's with that much articulation, it's definitely going to sit really nicely on the wrist. Now, as I've just been going on about how they're always looking to improve and keep pushing that finishing, they've Definitely the finishing on the case and bracelet has improved as well. This was something that I remember Peter was mentioning in whether it was the episode that he came on or can't remember, or was it a video? Well, it could be something else, but I definitely read, maybe I read it, but he mentioned about how he's focused on improving. I remember the Gin Clear diver and the improving the case and the finishing on the case and the bracelet. And he's definitely carried that through with the Mandala as well. They've increased the surface hardness coating as well from 800 to 1200 on the Vickers scale, which is great. Last episode, I believe, I spoke about the Heron Mariner, which was on loan to me at that point in time, and it had that 1200 HV coating. It was great. That one had been all around the world. Multiple people had it, and it was still clean, still looked really good. That's awesome, especially with a watch like this. Looks beautiful, looks dressy, yet it can be worn in any circumstance, that hence the Garda nature of it. It's great. It's great that you have this coating on there so you don't have to feel like you have to baby it as well, which is a treat. So many different color options now. I always liked previously, I love the white and red dial, and I also like their purple. But this one comes with, yeah, some really cool colorways as well. Probably my pick of the bunch is the Mint Fresh or the Bumblebee, which is like the Bumblebee's like a yellow and black dial. Yeah, I reckon it gives it a nice summery vibe and, sort of fits with the Aussie summer right now. But you can't go wrong with the classic colors as well. The black, the salmon dial, all looks great. And of course, can't talk about the watch without talking about specs. 40 mil diameter, 47 mil lug to lug, 10.5 mil thickness, including the sapphire crystal. So it's super thin profile and it's going to wear great on most wrists as well. 47 mil lug to lug is a nice sweet spot for a 40 mil watch, especially with the bracelet that tapers from 20 mil to 18 mil. It's going to make it wear even better. Of course, the reason why it's so thin is because you've got the venerable Miyota 9015 movement in it. This one comes decorated as well with second hours rotor, and yeah, it's just done beautifully. And you're looking at the case back, and you're looking at the rotor and the dial, and yeah, there's just that design cohesion is just there. It's all put together really well. Everything just looks like it's meant to be there, which is great. And that's something that I know that Peter always mentions and strives to do, is to have a cohesive design language throughout their collection, which is very evident with this Mark III. Of course, like I said, Garda watch needs at least 100-meter wall resistance, which this definitely does, and it comes with a screw down crown signed as well. So again, perfect. Bring it to the beach, wear it to the office. You can do whatever you like, really, and it's gonna look good. Last but not least, it comes with the BGW9 Bright Blue Lume, which I'm absolutely loving at the moment. There's been a couple of watches that I've handled recently with that BGW9 Lume, and I just can't get enough of it. I like the more traditional Lume as well. I can't remember off the top of my head, I guess the more greenish hue Lume that it's in a lot of watches, Lumi Bright and Seiko's Lumes and stuff as well. But BGW9 is just nice. That Super Luminova, that bright blue is great. I think it really suits this watch really well as well. So yeah, look, I can really keep going on about this. It's just a nice, clean design, really well made Garda watch, and it's thoughtfully designed, beautifully finished as well. You just look at some of the photos that are in the website right now. These are the actual models as well, not just 3D generated images, and they just look fantastic. I love how they've improved at each stage right now, arriving now at the Mark III. So listeners, check out the link in the show notes. It's currently on pre-order at the moment for 925 Australian dollars, or approximately 570 US dollars, obviously depending on the exchange rate at that point in time. And yeah, and orders will start shipping in March. So it's not really that long of a pre-order period. So yeah, check it out. Support a an Australian micro brand or local micro brand who have really put their thoughts and efforts into this watch, and well, pretty much any of their watches. So yeah, check it out. Okay, let's move on to the next watch then. So the next watch is very different. If the first one was a very traditional watch in a sense, this is a bit out there, and I thought it would be a good balance. So this is a brand called AndoAndoAndo, which is based out of Finland. So it's a Finnish brand that was started by a Japanese designer called Ando, who lives in Finland. They've got some really quirky designs, and I think their motto is they like to make quirky designs for watches that are made for smaller wrists, but are a bit more neutral. So not necessarily, overtly feminine or masculine, but just very neutral and very different. And they've nailed it with this. It looks exactly like how it sounds. It is a record player. It's a turntable on your wrist. It's inspired by the Panasonic Technics SL 1200, and it's a work of art on your wrist more than a watch, really. It tells you the time pretty well still, even though it's got a very unorthodox dial design with the record label with the A logo being the hour hand disc and the long arm of the record player being the minute hand, although it's not quite straight. You'll see what I mean when you have a look at the photos in the show notes. Of course, everything's linked to the show notes. Check it out. And the seconds hand is the disc in the center, not by hand, but it's aligned by text. Okay, look, this is definitely a funky piece. It's out there. It's different. It's a conversation starter. This is not your. This is probably not the watch that you buy as a one watch collection. But this is a watch that you buy if you have, a bit of a collection. You have your staples, your dive watches, your dress watches, and your garter watches, like the second hour Mandala. But now you want something different, something funky, and this is it. Comes with three different color variants. There's a black case, red and silver, which is probably the most muted. Then you've got a black, and a old gold version. So dimensions on these, it is like I said, a turntable record player watch. So it is a rectangular case. This is 36 mil lug to lug, a 41 wide with a thickness of 10.7. Again, thanks to the Miota 99 series movement in this, makes it very thin and wearable, even with the odd case-shape design. So it's priced at US $667. So that's just over it's about 1100 AUD at this point in time, or almost 1100 AUD. And it's being made and shipped in stages. So I think there's some going out in Feb, some going out in March, some going in April, just depending on when you order. I don't think there's limited edition release from what I can see. You can go in and buy it right now. It shows it's in stock, but yeah, it's definitely different, definitely funky. There's a lot to like about this, but obviously it is an acquired taste. Check it out. Okay, what is next? Next, we've got so the Tag Heuer Carrera Chronograph Glassbox Purple. So this was released at LVMH Week, which feels like forever ago now. I think probably a couple of weeks back. And I I'm pretty critical of Tag Heuer. I don't know. It's an inherent bias. I don't like a lot. I didn't really like a lot of the F1 inspired models from back in the day. They're not really my jam. But more recently, with I guess the more vintage inspired stuff, the Glassbox chronograph example really speaks to me. Got a great design language. I mean, Heuer's history, they've got so many fantastic watches. And recently, they've released some great releases like the all black glass box chronograph, the Skipper. Yeah. And the list carries on. And this is no different. So this is the glass box purple, which is a purple dial. It's a nice fume purple dial. And, regular listeners to the show, you will know that I love a great purple dial, and Justin did as well, and still does. with yeah, and you just don't see a lot of purple from mainstream brands. Maybe popping up here and there, but a lot of the micro brands seem to do it more. It's a 39 mil case, 46 mil lug to lug, and a thickness of only 13.86, which is incredible, really, for an automatic column wheel chronograph with an 80-hour power reserve. It's yeah, it's great. It's a lot of specs in there, and really compact. The design just builds upon that more recent Glassbox releases, and but it does it so it's not just like another color variant. It's different enough that it just stands out. I love the rally strap on it that it comes with. The has a real racing feel to it, but also looks really premium. Like it doesn't look out of place with a more dressy outfit on. Of course, I can't talk about this release without talking about another release that came basically at the same time, which is the Carrera Chrono Tourbillon. It's the same colorway, almost very similar design, but instead of I guess the running seconds hand and the date down at the six, it's got a tourbillon instead, which is pretty wild when you think about it. It's a bit larger, of course, to accommodate for the tourbillon in there. It comes with a different movement, and it's 42 mil case with a 14.3 thick case and a 48.6 lug to lug. So slightly bigger, but still the case design is such that it looks like it wears really well on wrists. And of course, the price difference between the two is going to be quite big. You got 34K USD versus 6.6K USD, which is quite big. And I think overall tag prices, I think it's a bit ambitious. A lot of these big houses have had price increases and doesn't seem to stop. But this design feels cohesive with the specs to match as well. So I don't think it's completely wild when you're looking at the chronographs from the other houses, bigger house, I guess like Omega and Rolex. The price range is it doesn't seem entirely expensive, but it's still up there. Of course, 6.6K USD for Australia is, what is that? I don't have my, I usually have my converter right in front of me. I closed it. Sorry, guys. Just over 10,000 Australian dollars. It's a lot of money. It's not cheap. Definitely not something that we normally talk about, but I really liked it. Liked the look of it, and I think it's a really good release by Tag. Hopefully, it comes down in the secondhand market, and maybe it is an obtainable watch at some time. But again, like I mentioned just now, the price is on the higher side, and when you're comparing it to Omega, yes, they don't, and or Rolex, for example, it's almost like they're trying to compete price wise, especially with a Mega Speedmaster, which it's roughly the same price. I think the Heslite version is about 10K or just under 10K Australian dollars as well, retail. Which, to be honest, between the two, in terms of specs and finishing, they're probably going to be similar, but in terms of heritage and the story and everything else, probably the Speedmaster is going to definitely win that battle. But yeah, look, still a great option for someone that's looking for a pretty cool looking and also very capable chronograph. Okay, now I'll wrap up this bunch of new releases with another tourbillon. We don't talk about tourbillons there a lot in Overtime, the podcast, but I figured why not today? So this one is a tourbillon from French micro brand Yema. So Yema's an interesting brand. They've been one of those brands that have been around for a long time, but more recently they've, I guess, I don't know if I want to say gone back to their roots, or more to say that they've stepped up. They've gone back to really focusing on, being a independent micro brand or watchmakers that are trying to push the boundary with their own in-house caliber and being a French brand, and components made in France and Switzerland and assembling it there. So they're really trying to elevate the brand, I feel. They still have their dive watches and field watches and everything else, but this one is a special piece. It's an anniversary piece. It's a 75th anniversary Yema Yachting Graph I hope I'm saying that right. Steel tourbillon Mariograph. It's beautiful. This is a essentially with a dive watch design, not quite a 200-meter water resistant dive watch, but it is a dive watch design that goes back to their 1970s back catalog with a tide register or a Mariograph, is what they call it at the 12, and it comes with tourbillon in at 6. It also comes with a 4-day power reserve, which is just nuts. And it's a work of art, really. It's quite interesting because I'm so used to seeing tourbillons in more dressier pieces, and the reason why I decided to, I guess, talk about this today is, and I guess even the Tag Heuer tourbillon chronograph is, there's two tourbillons right there in not necessarily what you would classify as a dress watch. One is a chronograph, which is dressy, but again, quite sporty. And this as well, which is, I guess, a dive watch aesthetic. Again, more sportier than elegant, so to speak. Of course, comes with the usual sapphire crystal, sapphire bezel, all that jazz, sapphire case back as well, showing off that in-house caliber. And yeah, it's very interesting to be honest. Yamaha seems to be pushing the envelope, trying to get a seat on the table, so to speak, with more serious manufacturers trying to get in and do their own independent stuff with, their movements, especially, they got their micro rotor movement as well. I think it's the CMM01, if I remember correctly, and this is called the CMM.30. So yeah, and it's got a 5,000 Gauss anti, or is it 2,000 Gauss anti-magnetic? Yeah, 2,000 Gauss anti-magnetic as well. So, it's got some great technology within it as well. And you've got four different watchmaking team who are all XAP, Piaget, Cartier, Omega, and also Salida. They've got experience all across the board, and you've got watchmakers that have 45 years experience, 40 years experience. So it's a great team, I guess. And I really like where they're going with this. I know Yema had some, I guess, at least in the micro brand space, that they had some faults about their customer service when something did go wrong, how they responded and how long they responded, etc. I think that's growing problems, to be honest. I feel like even Christopher Ward recently have had similar stories. I feel like, if a brand is growing at a rate which is great for the brand, but also comes with challenges as well. Customer service is one of the things you need to keep up with it. You need to make sure that you respond quickly, but also in a manner that is going to help your customers and not frustrate them. So hopefully that is not the case anymore with Yema, and Yema is improving not only with their technology and their watches, but also that component of as well. I think especially we've spoken about this before, microbrand owners are very, they expect the world, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. We pay good money for these things. We expect not only good quality product but good service as well. I'm hoping for the best for Yema, and I'm really impressed with this release. It has all the specs in it, and the price does match. It's 10,000, sorry, 9,990 US dollars, so 16K AED. It's a lot less than the Tag Heuer Tourbillon, of course, and it's a limited 75 pieces limited run, and I believe there's only a couple left. So I know this is not really exactly the wheelhouse of Overtime the podcast, but I thought it was super interesting, and yeah, check it out. Of course, links in the show notes as always. All right, that's all the new releases I wanted to talk about. Thought we'll move into the something interesting section. Okay, so something interesting today. So recently in my Instagram scrolling, I came across a video which showed a Grand Seiko bracelet clasp going on, and then all of a sudden the bracelet extended, and I was like, "Whoa, what is this?" It's it's an extension. It's a quick adjustment system. So yeah, finally, there's a quick adjustment system for Grand Seiko bracelets, but it's not from the manufacturer itself. It's from a third party. So Steel Reef Swiftlink. So Swiftlink is like, it's a pretty interesting bracelet quick adjust system. So it adds a toolless on the fly adjustment extension link into the bracelet itself. So not the clasp, but the bracelet. So it makes it sort of slip under the radar without having to, replace a clasp or whatever you need to do to try and get some quick adjustment in your Grand Seiko bracelet. And there's also 3 positions of adjustment in each, and each of them giving about 1.5 mil each, which is great. It gives you good control over, I guess, how much adjustment you want. I understand as well, not only Grand Seiko, they're also introducing it for plenty of Rolex models as well. So it is currently patent pending, and there is on their website, there's lists a bunch of models that it's already compatible for, both the Grand Seiko bracelet quick link, Swift link adjustments links, and also the for Rolex as well. And apparently they're going to add some more, which is awesome. So yeah, I think as an initial limited run, they're doing 500 units first. Pre-orders open on Feb 28th, and if you're interested, check it out. Of course, yeah, it's a great system, and unfortunately, my Grand Seiko model is not one of the models yet featured, but they did say they'll be adding more and more models as they keep going, and hopefully, I wish them all the best. Hopefully, people back them and get these. I think it's great. I think the argument that Grand Seiko bracelets don't have micro adjust because they don't need it, and or that's just part of the design. I get that part of the argument, and for most parts I'm okay with that. My bracelet is still very comfortable even without the micro adjusts, but on days where it's really really hot, it can get a little bit uncomfortable. Not always, but it can. So this is definitely something that I'm looking forward to, and hopefully it's out for my model selfishly as well. But anyway, yeah, check it out. The link is in the show notes. Okay, there it is. We're at the end of the episode. A couple of cool new releases. Of course, the second hour Mandala Mark III. Definitely check it out. Support Peter and Akira. They're doing some great stuff. And thanks for sponsoring this episode. Well, if there's nothing else, we'll leave it right there. Thank you for listening to Overtime the Podcast. I hope you enjoyed the episode. You can find us on our Instagram at Overtime the Podcast, at Kinda Average Watches, or flick me an email on overtimethepod@gmail.com. I appreciate your support and value your feedback. If you have any questions, suggestions, or topics that you would like the podcast to cover in the future, please hit us up. Until next time.